All right, 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro4x, 65,000 miles and some change right now. And so what's this thing like after 3.5 years? I'm getting destroyed out here. In case you didn't notice, I'm in a different location. I did have a lake behind me, and I don't know if you could see it or not, but I was getting destroyed by ants. Oh man, so we've moved locations. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to go drive, and I'm going to show you what this truck does that bothers me. It doesn't make sense why it does it. Why can't Nissan figure it out? But it's the cruise control. Now this truck is the 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro4x. It is the highest option package, and the only two things that I don't have is the sport rack, which is the fake roll bars they have in the bed, which are ugly and useless, and the drop down step that's on the back bumper. I don't have that because all that's going to do is get ripped off when you go off-roading, if you off-road for real. Anyway, so those are the only two things this truck doesn't have. When I drive like this, just on like these rolling hills, if I have the cruise control set at a certain speed, what it does is it allows it to slow down too much from the speed that I have it set at, and when it does that, when it finally realizes I need to stay at the speed it's set at, it's already 2-3 miles an hour lower, so it tries to speed up, but when it doesn't do it fast enough, it's like it floors it. It's like it hits the throttle. I know it's electronic, it's fly-by-wire, but the throttle, it's like it goes to wide open and it kicks down a couple of gears and just accelerates like I'm trying to catch up to something. I had a 2015 Nissan Titan, it never did that. Maybe it's because it had more torque and less gears, but my 2015 Titan never did that. So the cruise control in this truck, and I'm only going to say it in this truck, I don't know about any other Nissans that have this transmission, whether it's, you know, just a 2022 issue, I don't know. But I'm going to show you what it's going to do, and you'll hear it. So when I get over here somewhere, I'm gonna get my speed up to the speed limit, which is 60. I'm gonna set it at 60. And I just want you to notice, right now I have 65,193 miles on the odometer. Let me get it up to 60. I'll turn on cruise control, and I'm set right there at 60. Digital speed. Now watch these hills. So I'm going down. It's slowing down. Still, now it's down to, let me switch my dash to the digital speedometer. Okay, there's the digital speedometer. So I'm going 60. I'm slightly going downhill. There's 59. Downshift, downshift, downshift. Look, almost 4,500 RPM. Up to 61. 59. Okay. Did you see that? It downshifted 3 times, got up to 4,500 RPM. Right now, I'm driving at 1,500 RPM. It's at 58, so now I had to downshift to bring me back up to 60 while I was going downhill. Okay, now that we're here at this new location where I'm not getting destroyed by ants in the tall grass, let's talk about the truck. All right, we just went over the cruise control and how I think that's one place where I think Nissan screwed up for this truck. It gets decent gas mileage with these tires and the lift on it. When it's got a headwind though, it's a different story. And we're looking at maybe 17 miles to the gallon. When it's no headwind and you're on flat ground, you can do about 20 miles to the gallon when you're on a highway. Before I put the lift and the tires on it, and it was still bone stock, I could get 24 miles to the gallon with this thing. But driving it nice and easy. It's not a race truck. It's I don't care what they say. My Titan, 2015 Titan, the first generation, smoked this thing. I already did the rant about the cruise control. Let's talk about the brakes. The cruise control is just an annoyance, but the brakes, on the other hand, that's irritating. Every brand new Nissan I've bought other than my first generation Frontier has had brake issues. They have good stopping power, but the rotors are junk. I've had to replace the rotors on my 2004 Pathfinder Armada. I bought brand new. I had to change the rotors on my 2015 Titan, which was a first generation Titan, but the last model year that they made of that Titan before they changed it. And then on this one, which is the first model year of the Frontier Pro4x, as you see. So I had the first generation of the Pathfinder Armada, junk brakes, had to replace the rotors. Last model year of the first generation of the Nissan Titan, which they came out in 2004, and I had a 2015. 11 years later, the rotors were junk. The rotors on this, junk. I had to replace them. So I had to, basically, I didn't go back with Nissan parts. I put on aftermarket. These ones are slotted and drilled. They have about 15,000 miles on them. They work great. No issues with stopping power, no issues with warpage, pulsing brake pedals, none of that stuff. The rears are okay. I just replaced some pads on the rears, but the front's junk. The other thing is ground clearance. Nissan, what's the deal? When you come up with a Pro4x, that's your premium off-road package. You got a locking differential, premium package for Nissan. But then this thing is only as high as it's only got the same amount of ground clearance as a two-wheel drive truck that has steel wheels. It's what's the deal? Yes, it has, I think, a ½ inch more because the tires are a little taller, but the suspension is basically the same. I know the Pro4x comes with Bilsteins, however you want to say it, but the ground clearance is dumb. What's the sense on having a locking rear differential if you don't have any articulation or ground clearance? So I went to All Dogs Off-Road and I put a lift kit on this thing from them, and I haven't been sorry since. Great company, great people to deal with. They shipped it to Hawaii. I had to put a lift kit on my truck in order to make it look like it does today with the stance that it has today. If you were to look at the stock Frontier Pro4x, you would notice that you can't fit a fist from the top of the tire to the bottom of the wheel well, front or rear, especially in the front. Nissan, you can do better than that. Come on. One other minor issue that I hope doesn't turn into a bigger issue is the diverter door in the air conditioner. For whatever reason, I think it's there's a door that diverts from recycle air to outside air. And in the mornings or afternoons, if I haven't driven the truck the first time I drive it, it will cycle back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes for 10 minutes, it drives me crazy. Sometimes it doesn't do it at all. It does it whether I have the unit turned on, it does it whether I have it turned off, whether it's on auto, it doesn't matter. The diverter door cycles back and forth. I don't know why. So hopefully that's not an issue because this truck is outside of warranty. It's got 65,000 miles on it. It's 3.5 years old and it's got 65,000 miles on it. And one thing that you will notice is that I have the rock sliders, but they're missing the steps that come with it. The reason why they're missing the steps is because I removed them on rocks, on lava rocks in Hawaii. I guess they're good for getting in and out, but the truck isn't tall enough to even worry about. So at least they broke off without denting. The rock sliders, they seem like they do a pretty good job, though I have slid on lava rocks and they haven't dented or anything. So anyway, so these are good, but if you plan on doing off-roading where there's going to be ground clearance issues, take the steps off. They have, what is it, 8 bolts, 4 on top, 4 on bottom. Take them off, leave them in your garage. When you come home, put them back on. I added these Toyo open country mud terrains. They're 33s. I just wanted a taller tire. Once I lifted it, it didn't look quite right, so I added a taller tire. Plus, these things do a lot better off-road with traction, especially when it's muddy. Okay, all the stuff I've done under the hood is a long list. I've changed the oil lots of times, and I swapped out the air filter with a K&N reusable air filter. That's it. What else am I going to do under the hood? Nothing. No cold air intakes, no air compressors, no dual batteries, upgraded alternators, no power adders, nothing. This thing, as far as the horsepower and torque is concerned, is perfectly fine. It does great, especially off-road. People that want a lot of horsepower in off-road situations is usually it's because they're in a desert or they're in the mud. This thing, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hammer the truck. So if I go crawling, I don't need a lot of horsepower for crawling. I put it in 4 low, and then I can have better throttle control. That's the way it works. Okay, so I'm not going to make it louder. I don't need to make it faster. Performance-wise, this truck does great, especially when you're off-road. Considering that it doesn't have a front locker, this truck has never got me stuck. I've gotten scared a few times, but that was my fault, not the truck's fault. What have I done to the truck, other than the wireless dongle that I'm probably not going to use very much, is I tinted the windows. I added the tonneau cover, the lift kit, of course, the rotors that I changed in the front, the K&N air filter. That's it. That's all. And those changes are just mostly cosmetic. I mean, yes, the lift kit wasn't cosmetic. The rotors weren't cosmetic. Tires weren't cosmetic, but let's face it, you know, it looks better this tall than squatted down this far. So anyway, what do I plan on doing to this in the future, if anything? I'm going to probably add some LED backup lights to this thing. When I'm backing up with the windows tinted, it's a little tough to see at nighttime, so I might add some LED backup lights. Do I have to? No, I can just roll down the windows if it's not raining. I'm at a loss for words. I can't think of anything else that this truck needs. So at 65,000 miles in 3.5 years, would I do it again? Yeah, absolutely. I would start all over again and do it one more time. I would tell anybody, if you're debating on whether or not to get a Nissan, Toyota, Jeep, whatever, I would every day suggest you take a look at these things. I'm not going to tell you to buy it, but I will tell you that I would buy it again. What would I replace this with if I was going to get a different truck? I probably wouldn't replace it at all. I might get an additional truck, and that would be a Cybertruck. If it was a 3-motor, I want all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. So I might get a Cybertruck, but this one is going to be in my family for a long time. I just got back on a road trip where I went from Texas all the way to Montana and back down, and it did not let me down one time. it was great. Only time I had an issue was when I was driving in the headwind and I had to get gas more often, but that's okay. That's not the truck's fault. It's my fault for driving into a headwind. I should have kept driving with a tailwind everywhere I went, even when I came home when I had a headwind the whole way. So no, I won't replace this truck. So it's a great truck. If you were to get one, I don't think you'd be disappointed either. 65,000 miles, 3.5 years and counting. And to me, this truck still drives like it's new. No squeaks, no rattles, no engine ticking, no issues at all. So I love this truck, and I'm going to keep loving this truck. Aloha.